Hi, so today I wanted to share what I have learned from watching Dan Kennedy's consulting. I think it was a boot camp that he had in 2003, 2004. Not entirely sure, but I watched this video from the ClickFunnels not Netflix, but it's called FunnelFlix, where it shows Dan Kennedy's consulting conference, and I learned so much from watching his videos. And it was actually a series of, I think, so many hours, and I've seen about 6 hours worth of his coaching program. Now I know and I understand that he's a very influential for high end marketers, and I wanted to see what the fuss was all about. So I watched him, and oh my goodness, for all the sorry about that. So a lot of things that he was saying really made sense to me, and my mindset needed some kind of shaking, so so it's focused, and so I know what I'm supposed to be doing. Okay, so I've learned so much today, and it's about money, all about money. Because just a bit of a background of myself: I am an immigration solicitor, and I'm recording this in the midst of the pandemic. It's June now. We had a lockdown in Italy the beginning of March, and we've just kind of opened up a few weeks ago. And still, it's still very slow, because my work comes from the UK, and the UK completely stopped. My immigration clients have completely stopped instructing me because the visa centers are closed. Now, you would think that I have a lot of money and I've really sort of made it, but the truth is that's nothing from the truth. And so this is why I'm recording this video, to record my journey to becoming a successful person, not a label, but to become a successful person, to have a financially worry-free future. So today I want to share this things that I got from the video that I watched today. So he was talking about money, how money moves, and it moves to you. It moves to you through speed. Yeah? Money moves through speed, self-promotion, and if it's something exciting, if there's something exciting, you're offering exciting stuff. And how the money doesn't go to where it's needed, how there's a lot of money moving, there's a lot of money movement in the world, and where the money is needed, it doesn't go. Like, for example, some places in the world really could do with a lot of funds, right? But the money doesn't go there. It stays with places where they don't need. Okay, and he's also teaching about how money doesn't have moral judgment. Okay, and I always have this I think struggle with the idea of money. Money is somehow elusive, and I have to do it in a I had some kind of moral judgment attached to the money, and this is the reason why I could have been very successful, but I wasn't. So so money doesn't have moral judgment. I want to repeat that. Money does not have moral judgment. And so if you are if you have a business, and you have limiting beliefs about money, then the only reason why it's not successful as it should be, it's because of the false belief that you have attached to the money. And I think I had that, so I had a practice. I had a practice since 2013, and it hasn't really gone as I would like, because I didn't really have plan when I started it. It's only really now that's like kind of opened my eyes about the business, how the world works, how the business works. So what I've just realized And I can picture this from my experience, is that a buyer will always be a buyer. There's always going to be a buyer. A buyer is a buyer. Okay, basically a buyer is a buyer. People want to buy things. Like for example, people can buy, you know, really expensive shoes. You know, two pair of shoes. A pair of shoes can cost you 18,000 pounds. Can cost you, I don't know, 20,000 pounds. And what about bags, handbags? Oh my goodness, they're so expensive. I dare not think about handbags. So I don't have one of those, right? And I even think that, well, you know, I don't buy those, you know, like Gucci, those branded bags. I just get the bags that you get that looks okay, that looks decent, doesn't look cheap. Let's say that'll do me. But some people actually spend a lot of money on specific things, on luxury things, and so it's not because the thing will give them value. It's because they want to spend money. So let them spend money. So anyway, the forces of money is the money flows to you when you decide. So you decide when the money flows to you, and absolutely has nothing to do with your background. And this is what in a way, I had this before, and sometimes I kind of go back to explaining why I am not as successful as other people. And I always go back to, well, you know, we grew up quite poor. You know, we didn't have this, we didn't have that. If we had this opportunity, blah, blah, blah. Basically, it's just an excuse. And he's saying that there's a lot of stories that you can attach to people who growing up in a really, really deprived area, you know, where, you know, drug addicts in a ghetto. I don't, you know, I'm using the word ghetto, but I don't even know what that is. But in a really poor community. But you also have stories where people have grown up in that kind of environment, but have gone out and become really, really successful. So it is not about your past. It has money absolutely has nothing to do with your past, because it's what you decide today. It's today, what decision you make today. So you decide today who you want to be. You decide what you want to do today, and you decide what do you want to be known for. Okay, if you're not known for something else right now, then do something so in, I don't know, in a year's time you can be known for something. Who do you want to associate with, and who do you want to associate with? Okay, this is really important, because the people, they say you are the product of the people that you hung around with. Okay, so if you hung around with people who don't like to work, then you're gonna end up become lazy too. So and if you surround yourself with really motivated people, then their energy somehow kind of catches up on you, and then you become kind of also motivated. Or if you're surrounded with people who are really successful, and it's just a matter of time before you become successful yourself. So again, it's your decision who you want to be associated with. And when money moves to people, it is only a matter of decision. It is a decision. It's absolutely nothing to do with anything else. Okay, so what he also mentioned is that money moves all the time. Okay, so he gave an example of a bottled water. Okay, so who here drinks water from the bottle or from the tap? Okay, apparently there's not much difference, and there's a lot of tests about it going on about whether or not which tastes better, bottled water or tap water. And a lot of people actually choose tap water. So do you see how crazy that is? And yet some bottled companies charge so much money for a bottle of water that you could have just, you know, gotten from your tap. Okay, but perhaps you want to experience, I don't know, buying the bottle, paying for the bottle, paying much money for something that you could have it for free. Okay, you see. Okay, so that's what I learned today. And he said something about you have to plant desires for money to flow to you. You have to plant desires and interests. So subconsciously, it's subconscious. I don't know how to explain subconscious, but I suppose he has a lot of it's quite a massive, complicated concept. Subconscious. Okay, it's all the realm of mental, mental stuff, psychology, um, which I don't know much about, okay? But I kind of understood, I kind of got what I was trying to say about what you think most is what you will get, something like that, what you will become, okay? So, well, for money to come to you, you have to ask, which is really, really important. You have to ask, how is people going to, how is money going to come to you if you don't ask? So it's the same as if you want a raise, if you are employed and you want your employer to increase your salary, they're not going to just offer it. You have to ask for it. And it's the same thing with if you're selling something. You can't just here's my product and then leave it on the internet, right? You have to do something so people will know about your product. And you have to ask them. You have to ask them for the money. And you have to act. Also act big. He said something like act big, reasonably confident. Okay, so it's about confidence. And he's saying something about if you're going to do something, then do it. Okay, not sort of like, oh, I'm just gonna wait for a bit. And I think I've been doing that for a while. I think people can relate as well. When you would say, I'm gonna do this product and I'm going to launch it, but nothing happens. I'm going to launch it, but nothing happens. So I'm still organizing, and he's mentioning something like, well, you're not doing something, you're in the business of getting organized. Okay, who pays for that? Okay, so who pays for getting organized? Maybe you can sell that product. Okay, so and then he talks about the price. The price, the money, the price, the amount is a representation of a presentation about money, and it's nothing to do with whether or not people agree. It's just a price. Okay, so if you increase your price, people might think badly about increasing it and so on, but it's just a price. Okay, but people attach value to it. And he's saying as well that the barrier to price is you set your own price. So for example, for me, I have been sort of consciously, it's like assumption, it's making assumption of the buyers. But if you make assumption of the buyers, if you think you're setting the price because your ideal clients won't be able to afford the amount of money that you're going to charge them, well, you're just attracting the wrong clients, right? So, and I think that's what I have been doing. I have been attracting the wrong clients. So charging them less because I thought, well, they are this kind of client type of client who would buy my services, who won't be able to afford. So I kind of lower my price, and it's the same. So whereas other lawyers would be charging, I don't know, 500 per hour, 500 pounds per hour. So, for others, be like, oh, that's too expensive. Well, that's because you can't afford it. But other people can afford it. Okay, so now you decide your price, and you realize that you decide your price and then you realize that once you decide your price, then you realize that you've been underselling and underpricing. And what you have to do when you decide your price is you resist, I'm quoting his word, you resist all the attempts of other people to regulate your price. Okay, so I know so if you increase your price, there's a bit like, oh, I can, there's a lot of people who are like, oh, it's so expensive. But you're not responsible for them, you're only responsible for yourself, okay? So that's price. Now, this is really like the last part. The last part is money does not move to you because you are liked. Okay, did you get that? So money doesn't come to you because a lot of people like you. Okay, so he says something like, we are not in the business of getting praises from others. Consultants are not in the business of being liked. Okay, so even if you have people who don't like you, okay, but you know your price, people will buy from you. Again, it's to do with confidence. So he said that high achievers live independent of good opinion of others. Now this is really, really good, because I remember there was when I started opening my practice, I had this kind of not partner, but he was working with me, and he was the one referring me with clients because he had a lot of clients, and a lot of people used to, you know, he's really, really good businessman. He's really good businessman. He was like, so focused. So, this is what I'm going to do. And a lot of people don't like him. Okay. A lot of people don't like him, but he's still got a lot of clients. And I realized that other people's opinions of him, like, even though they're like, oh, I hate him, some clients, get really, really, angry at him because, obviously he made mistake or he had misadvised them and so on. He just did not care. He said he's just, no care in the world. Just continue, focus on what you have to do. And that's something I learned from him. And I learned that, well, you just have to move on, focus on what you have to do, focus on what you have to, just focus, not to get distracted of whether or not people hate you, people hate around you. So if you are immune to criticism, then you are going to make it, because you're going to put yourself out there into the world, do what you have to do, focus on achieving what you have to achieve, achieving your goals. Put yourself out there and not care about the other criticism, the noise, the distractions to where you're going. That's my video for today. Thank you for watching. Ta-ra!